Hi everyone, it's Koget here, and I'm about to cast another game, another PvZ, so very interested how that one will go. We have two new players. I will start with introducing the yellow Zerg here in the bottom left corner of Radeon. That is Yoon. He is a semi-pro, absolutely top tier Zerg. I actually believe I got beaten by him like 14-0 years ago. So I have my own private memory with playing Yoon when he was obviously already probably a top 10-15 Zerg in the world. And top right corner, we have a Protoss player, and that's how we'll call him. He is on a Barcode account. I don't know exactly who that is, but he is definitely a formidable Protoss. Somewhere around top 50 ladder all the time with very good win ratio, so could really be anyone. Alright, map is Radeon, and we have a very nice I think it's a 9 gateway from Protoss, so looking to put some pressure with the Zealots. And probably will be slightly disappointed to discover that this is cross position, which will obviously make this rush ever slightly weaker. On the other side though, we have 12 Hutch from Yoon, followed up by a quick drone scout, checking if no probe has hidden here behind the minerals, preparing a cannon rush, so very good awareness that this is a possibility. On Radeon, playing 12 Hutch, you need to check these things. And here we have a nice meeting of a probe and a drone, getting some shots on that little probe, so maybe it comes down slightly damaged and shield. I think it's going to regenerate. And Protoss scouting, this is 12 Hutch. Continues with a second Zealot. Let's see how aggressive he wants to be. I believe in this situation he will opt for a quicker Nexus rather than continuing creating Zealots for aggression. And we have the drone getting here just in time. Super important for Zerg to plant that hatchery without distraction. He gets this exactly on 300 minerals, so very good. Overall, really good situation for Yoon, because not only is cross position, he gets his free hatcheries on location, on time, and this 9 gate aggression from Protoss will be delayed because it's a long distance. This drone is already putting some destruction to the Zealot, getting this extra seconds, also damage the Zealot again, but that will regenerate. So actually insane, links are already here. This must have been a fast pull. Probably a 11 pull, I guess, maybe not that fast. But we have 2 Zealots and 6 links fighting. Let's see how that micro goes. Very good micro from Protoss, not allowing to get surrounded. Oh, look at this, what a nice sweet spot. Only 1 link actually able to fight here. Maybe he needed to move his links a little bit. We have 8 links, sorry, 8 links here, plus really, so he made 12 in total. Now switching to drones. Starting with speed, he's not gonna go lure first, so already now some choices by Zerg. Could go lure, but he opts for speed. There is an idea of Lingle in, and obviously we see Protoss sending this additional Zealots. This link speed will come very handy to hold that initial aggression. 2 Zealots behind the minerals, these 2 will go. Smart choice by Protoss, showing that you have to respect that I can be making Zealots. This forced additional 4 links, and now Yoon will realize that the Zealots are back, so no real threat. And the quick speed to Zerglings, I was just saying, is not gonna give so much value, but what's the follow-up? That must be Hydralisk. He stopped mining gas, he's at 250 gas, not mining more. Very curious to see what it's gonna be. That seems like a must hatchery play. Alright, finally cleaning this Zealots. Speed helps a lot with this. This must be additional 2 hatcheries by Zerg, so he completely cut gas. He will just mass drone behind this, go up to 5 hatcheries. and a Hydra then adding 7 drones. Alright, let's see what happened to the Protoss base this time. So we have a Stargate. Not that fast. Protoss did invest in a lot of zealots. We have 4 zealots here, plus additional 2 died. We have now +1 starting, and a second gas. The good thing is Protoss definitely been on top of the probe production, already at 30, very healthy amount. And we can see 4th hatchery being added by Yoon, and probably 5th hatchery over here. There we go. Drone coming in. And I guess a Hydra then instantly. Of course you need that to hold the Corsair. Alright. What a nice aggressive game so far. We have 5 zealots. Looking to do some damage on the slings. I don't think he can really move out. It is cross position. Zerg can easily produce additional links before the zealots gets to Zerg base, and then he can literally eat those alive. So Protoss respects this, keeps on adding zealots. Adds Citadel of Adun. He will have, despite being only on 1 gateway, his +1 attack and speed will come together, and he will have a pretty good force of zealots to run around the map and potentially pressure Zerg. Alright. Cannon looking to possibly address some kind of a Hydra base. Corsair nicely going for the middle of the map. Nothing is met here, only an Overlord, and that Overlord might be in trouble, but the Hydras are here already to save them, so very nice. Very nice build for both players. You can see they're reacting and adapting and just hitting their timings exactly where they should be. Evo Chamber, +1 Hydra, everything very standard, but it is cross position. Zerg has got a nice healthy economy and adding a 6th hatchery already, so what Zerg wants, we're only missing a couple drones and that further gas, and from there Hydras are gonna be a real threat because there will be so many Hydras. A little Zergling dance here, trying to pick 1 zealot, but at the end losing a link for that. Protoss on top of the micro, not allowing any of those zealots to separate from the group and therefore getting sniped by the Zerglings. Also paying attention where the zealots are going exactly, making sure he can react if it's a natural base or 3rd base. We can see speed is maybe 60% down, so these zealots, as long as they are not fast, they are not that deadly as if they were speed zealots, so we will have the timing very soon. Oh, are we coming back? I think this was still a threat. It didn't force that much army because Yoon was anyway already adding a lot of Hydras under his 6th hatch economy. So actually, Protoss has to be a little bit careful now. He has got a lot of zealots, his +1 is ready, but only 2 cannons. The Dark Templar is gonna be the saving grace because otherwise this Hydra timing would be pretty dangerous. I mean, Zerg has got economy that can basically support non-stop Hydra production. He needs to add cannons anyway. That 1 Dark Templar could be ignored, but look at this, only 1 gateway and we have 10 zealots, so that was enough to push back this initial Hydra aggression. What a nice build order, I like that. So this gateway was very, very effectively managed, constantly building zealots up to around 10. I mean, now we have more gateways, but I believe it was all from 1 gateway. Now we have another gateway, of course, adding High Templars, but very well played. And we have Spire being added by Yoon, so there are options for transitioning. No 3rd gas yet, so that Spire probably will come into play a little bit later. Maybe it is to add 1 or 2 Scourges to try and chase these Corsairs. By the way, only 1 Overlord killed, so good job by Yoon. He only lost this one that was close to Protoss main. He didn't lose any of the Overlords. They were all protected in time by the Hydralisks in his main. Alright, let's do a check-in on the economy. Protoss at, wow, a mind-blowing 60 probes. Super strong economy for 2 bases. I mean, we are definitely looking at a gateway explosion. There we go. 8 gateways already here. We remember Rain yesterday, I think he was at around 47, 48 probes when he transitions into that big Protoss ball. But he was also playing Zealot, who was low economy. So it was, I believe, a good decision by Rain to cut some probes and quicker transition into army. Here, Protoss realizing that Zerg is relatively safe, sitting across the map on 6 hatches, decides to add some extra probes, make sure he can saturate these minerals to fullest, and then also a quick 3rd base probably will be the choice. It does seem difficult to pressure Zerg that is on 6 hatcheries for that long. I mean, he was definitely able to catch up on the tech. He's definitely he definitely didn't suffer any damage, neither from Corsair nor mining time from drones. So this is a healthy economy from Zerg, but as well a very healthy economy for Protoss. So we are looking into a pretty macro-oriented mid and late game. Both players respecting that it's cross position, it's hard to attack your opponent. Radeon, these positions are relatively easy to defend. There's not that much space to flank. So both players realizing this decide to basically take up and add bases. So 60 probes by Protoss, adding defensive cannons in case of a muta transition. And there they are, 5 mutas by Yoon. So he decided to actually add those only almost on 2 gases, and 5 of course is a magic number to snipe these probes with 1 hit. Also managed to damage some of these Corsairs. So how is Protoss going to address this? He could go Dark Archon, he could add Corsairs, but I think he realizes just 5, and he does neither. Obviously, it's not really a threat to High Templars. Couple goons can easily scare this away. Important for a Protoss player to recognize this, that this is not a real threat to his army, and not overreact by adding a quick Dark Archon or rebuilding Corsairs. That'd be a waste of gas and minerals. So staying on this, just 2 initial Corsairs, and nicely adding upgrades, adding the army. We are at 1-2 already, 2 attack, 1 armor, and 2nd armor upgrade already being done. So nice upgrades by Protoss. He is good. How many High Templars does he have? It's 4 High Templars here, and that might be actually the total, but they are loaded with energy. 2 storms here, almost 3 storms here, almost 3 storms here, and 2 storms here. So really, really nice defensive setup. How this will play out? So I believe Yoon is the one that kind of has to think what to do. He can't just sit in a corner and defend. I mean, 4 bases is of course what he needs. He's getting his upgrades, but either try to contain the Protoss, try to maybe micro. Oh, there you go. The big Protoss army around 160, 170 supply is going on the map. So definitely for now, it is Zerg that has to defend. This is where Protoss army is probably the strongest in the whole matchup. That 12-13 minute mark after Protoss established his 3rd base, and after he basically gets to that massive army with High Templars. It's easier for Protoss to scale at this moment than for Zerg. Before Zerg gets all the high-tech units. And we have a nice counterattack, but it's only checking in. Hello, is there anyone there? Sees the army returning. Doesn't want to waste any Hydras. You just lose 1 for a cannon. But checking in. Are you there? Are you making sure to keep a High Templar, couple of zealots here? If not, Zerg can easily pounce and snipe a couple of probes, or maybe even snipe a Nexus. Big Zerg contain here in the middle of a map, protecting his 4th base, making sure to deny any access to the 3rd base. Over here we have a Sunken, couple Hydras, and a Lurker, easy to reposition to also hold this base. So no real holes in Zerg's defense. Very likely will extend that that blockade to the right, because we see he is adding his 5th base, while Protoss is adding his 4th base. Both players still not feeling an opportunity to attack. I would say more Protoss than Zerg. Definitely it is Protoss timing to try and do something before Hive is out, before Zerg gets a full economy, and there we go, how this will go. Protoss realizes the Lurkers are already here, the Goons stepping forward, first storm out, careful with the Observers, those can be easily sniped right now. Right now, trying to get some value. It doesn't seem like Protoss wants to engage, he just tries to use some of that High Templar energy, get a couple of free Lurkers, maybe back off. A big army from Yoon, around 3 groups of units from the back, trying to cut reinforcements, or maybe look for a backstab, and that looks like it. Yoon is trying to take all his army, look at that flank from all the angles, but this is a big Protoss army. I'm not sure if this is gonna work for him. There are not that many High Templars left, not that many Storms have used so many Lurkers. Let's look at this, the very well upgraded Protoss army. 2-1 versus, okay, 2 actually on Hydra, so pretty even upgrades, I would say. And the trade also goes relatively evenly. The Zealots on top managed to clean that small Hydra force, while the Goons managed to hold their ground. And even despite losing all the High Templars, he is able to maintain 171 supply versus 130. This looked very scary for the Protoss, but somehow he manages to clean this up rather nicely, trade efficiently, although lost all the High Templars. And now the question is, how does Protoss continue that pressure? Because with the 5th base from Zerg in, Defiler mount just completed. Consume. Triple upgrades, I believe. Yes, triple evolution chambers. So also +1 armor being ready. It is the bolt in Protoss court. He needs to find an answer. Is it gonna be the harassment play? Is that gonna be another big timing? Or is that just gonna be trying to play for defensive expansion style, trying to secure maybe the top of the map? I think he realizes that an expansion could be here, moving all of his army to the right side, and this is actually very lightly defended, almost not defended. There is no Nidus channel, so this is not good for Yoon. He will have to give up that base, even if just a bunch of Zealots go there to snipe it. I think Dark Temper is gonna scout first, or that right now stays with the army. Protoss looking for more value, finds some isolated lurkers, first storms, and then one hit from a Goon can kill this. And we have a similar scenario from just 2-3 minutes ago. Yoon with a nice free groups army trying to go from the back, but this time I don't know how does he fight with this main army of the Protoss. There are not that many lurkers left. This base is also exposed. So the army of Zerg, where's the army of Zerg? He's now flanking, but this is 200 supply Protoss. This massive 60-65 Protoss economy is just kicking in. Despite Zerg getting the upgrades, getting the economy, he just doesn't have the units to contest this almost in a way basic mass Zealot Gun couple Arcos Protoss army. So he needs to be really careful, because it could easily go in a situation where, you know, you have not enough lurkers in a position, maybe once swarm, only just a couple links, and then this mass Zealot Archon Storm army can just bust any position very easily. So, and this is what we see, a bunch of Zealots going down, but luckily for Yoon, he was able to establish a Nidus canal here. This will, of course, force the Zealots back. So now it is a question how this main army is going to be handled. He's looking for the same soft spot every single time, and we see Yoon doesn't have a Defiler again. Additional lurkers seems that they will fall. Very patient play by the Protoss. He doesn't bait into the position, tries to kill 1-2 lurkers with guns, throw a couple storms, and wait for the Zerg to engage. Although right now he seems to be pulling the trigger. He realizes that the Zerg army is rather weak here, and maybe there's an opportunity to even attack this base. Although we can see that this lurker blockade is very deep, so he splits the army, takes half of it to the base. No, everything goes to the base, and now the drones are exposed. There is a High Templar with free storms, so this will not be able, Yoon will not be able to clean this base, losing the hatcheries kind of out of the blue. I mean, this almost seems surreal. Zerg had such a dominating macro position from the opening. He got his 5 hatcheries, he got a lot of hydras, but then one fight, second fight, and he was not able to contest just a big Protoss army. I mean, Protoss standing here, getting individual lurkers, and the supply is just not there for Yoon. Seems he has got the attack, he has got the economy, but he's never able to go from under the weight of Protoss. The weight of Protoss just sitting here, trading units, and at the same time, you know, adding the bases, making sure they are secured. This 4-base setup is there. Reavers are already being added. Look at this, shuttle Reaver already. So we have a full tech tree ready to play the late game even, while Yoon, what does he have? He has got his upgrades, he has got full hive tech, but I mean the economy looks a little bit weak. It is only 4 bases versus a 5th, and soon maybe even a 6th base from Protoss. Very healthy probe count. It's difficult in a map like Radeon to take the whole blockade here, because that requires probably 150-160 supply. Yoon just doesn't have it. He can only handle one of those positions, and right now it is the bottom right corner and his natural. Probably he should try and maybe fight for this area, couple lurkers and swarms to try and defend here, but right now he seems to be he's not comfortable with his supply. He knows he cannot overextend himself, because then a bunch of High Templars, a bunch of Zealots and Reavers will be able to find a hole in the lurker defense, and even with Swarm, Protoss will be able to pounce through. And what does he do? Okay, I tried a couple times in the middle, but Yoon, did you remember to put your lurkers and swarms in your 3rd base? Because I'm gonna knock the door here. If you're not ready, that base can die quickly. As soon as Zealots come in here and couple High Templars, it would be very difficult to reinforce this for Zerg, but luckily for him, puts lurkers in time, and Protoss knows this, doesn't try to provoke the fight. A very nice Plague. This is exactly what Zerg needs. Plague on this multiple Zealots. We have 2 Reavers though, and again, a lot of storm potential. The upgrades are excellent. 2 armor, 2 plasma shield, 3 attack, so almost full upgrade setup with last two being research plus scarab damage as well. So with the with adding of the 6 base for Protoss, he will probably focus all of his APM only on harassment, only on looking for a hole in Zerg defense, and with this Reaver, he will be able to find one, although this slowly looks like Yoon maybe is able to come back to this game. 130 supply seems unreasonably low. Can he hold this fight here? I mean, this is a lot of lurkers, the Defiler is here, but how he addressed the River, this is a good start. A nice plague to the River, a very important sword. He needs to reinforce all his army right here from the Sniders, from the back. This is the most important base for Yoon. If he loses this, he's back to 4 bases, and we know that 4 base Zerg cannot really fight with a 6 base Protoss. Protoss goes back, recognizes there is a backstab, doesn't want to get sandwiched in here, so finds the lurkers and throws massive storms on those. Yoon now overextend again. He feels he needs to fight his army, manages to get an Archon and a couple goons, but at what cost? He's down to 93 supply, and look at this, he GG's. Oh, it looked like he could have continued that fight, but with all these bases from Protoss, full tech, 3-3-3, look at this guys, it's minute 20, 21, we have full economy from Protoss, full tech, double robotic facility, sorry, I wanted to say, triple robotic facility even, Nexuses being added here, full upgrades, so hard to contest a Protoss position like this, because you, at the same time, you have to think about, how do I defend my bases? How do I defend my mineral lines from harassment? But even if you do this, Protoss is ready to go to a full-blown end game, 40-50 minutes long game, where map split is something that Zerg players do not want. If you map split versus a Protoss like this, Protoss with full upgrades, you better know what you're doing, because long term, this gas, these High Templars will help Protoss get an advantage. So wow, what a game for Protoss. I think I will look for more of these games. He was so patient. He managed to sneak in quick 3rd base very nicely. He absolutely dominated in the army department, always had a much greater army, always been much higher in supply, but while doing all this, while putting a lot of pressure on Zerg and getting good trades on these lurkers, he was able to add all these bases and complete his full tech tree by adding 3-3-3 upgrades and reverse, even scarab damage is done. Excellent game, and I would like to thank you for joining me for this one. So see you next time. Cheers guys, bye.